I'm going to talk about some of the research I did last summer on boreal toads in the Rocky Mountains. So basically I was part of the wildlife biology team at the National Park Service, and we were studying, like, there's this fungus called chytrid fungus, which is like a worldwide fungus since the 80s that affects amphibians. And it's like the reason that the golden Panamanian frogs are almost extinct is a lot of frogs are really susceptible to this fungus. And it's basically at this point spread worldwide to all these areas. So we wanted to assess where it is in the park and how the toads are affected by it. And different amphibians are affected differently by it. So there are 4 amphibians in Rocky Mountain National Park. There was the boreal toad, which is really sensitive. The chorus frogs were not sensitive at all. And then there was the wood frog and the tiger salamander, which are like medium. So we basically, the project was to go to all these pools and these remote ponds where they have nested, where they have laid their eggs historically, and survey how many there are and what the status of them was. So this was my team that I worked on, and what we did is we had a couple sites that we wanted to potentially reintroduce them at. So we didn't know if they were chytrid positive or not, so we had these cages, and we called them the sentinel toads, where we got toads and we actually put them in these cages with some food and put them in the water, and then periodically sampled their skin to see if they were chytrid positive. The toads actually survived, and they were chytrid negative, so we got to release them at the end of this experiment. These are just a couple photos of like what we would do. Basically, take like skin samples and scrape their skin pretty good, but they weren't harmed by it. And also get other data points, such as like when we would find them in the wild, we would basically look for egg masses on the top left, surveying these different ponds, and we always wore waders and walked around to these data points. And we would sample chorus frogs too, which are really tiny. We'd get the width of their mouth, the length of them, and then sometimes we would pit tag them too if they didn't have pit tag IDs already. And something that's really funny is we'd also take like belly photos, because they're kind of like fingerprints where they can, each toad has a unique print, so you can kind of identify them in that way too. So we took some funny pictures of us holding up toads. And yeah, so we pit tagged them. All the ones we found actually did not have pit tags, so that means that they're either dying or we're just not finding them. So we did not really know what to make of that. But I think my favorite part of the whole trip was getting to do the tadpole reintroductions. And there was kind of a fish hatchery in Denver that grew these boreal toad tadpoles, and we were able to get a couple thousand and deliver them to the ponds for restoration. So that was a really meaningful effort, and the numbers have been declining, but because of these reintroductions, I think that it's hopefully going to be good and establishing new populations of toads in that park. And also just some cool bird photos that I took when I was there. The western bluebird is really interesting to see. And I actually made a point of getting up to the alpine environment super early. So the park is from 7,000 to 14,000 feet elevation all within the park. So there's a wide range of habitats and different animals that live at different elevations. And one of the ones that I managed to see was a ptarmigan, which they're pretty rare because they're so camouflaged. I took the 2 photos on the left and middle, but I got them at like the perfect time when they were in between plumages from brown to white, so that was pretty fun. And they actually spend the entire winter on the alpine tundra. They just burrow into the snow, and they survive there, which is amazing. And they have feathers on their feet, which is really funny. And then I also saw an American dipper, which is a really cool, like, semi-aquatic bird, which forages underwater in the streams. And I took a video. Yeah. That was right there. You can see that? It's really cool. They have really strong feet, so they can like grip the bottom of the stream and like forage under there while they're underwater. Yeah, and that is all I have. Does anyone have any questions?
Did you have to carry all of that gear up into the mountains to do this? So you were carrying toads with you while you were hiking, like up?
We would carry the tadpoles with us.
Wild.
Yeah. We had like 40-pound backpacks while we were doing this.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.